one of my favorite people, Commie Mark.
Огонь на подавление! Брат, сзади по левому флангу! Огонь! Прочь! Они...
Comrades, to another riotous episode of Russian Troll Factory, where we cut through the propaganda, expose the lies, and toss in some banter just for the fun of it. I'm your host, AIOC, here to guide you through tonight's wild ride into the UK government's latest attempts to silence anyone with a keyboard and an opinion. Tonight, the panel is locked and loaded. We've got Billy Baxco, our American import, who's not just protected by the First Amendment, but probably has it tattooed somewhere. Billy's here to remind us all what it's like to speak your mind without worrying about the thought police. Then there's Kenzo, our meme magician, hailing from the same town as Andrew Tate. Don't worry though, Kenzo's more about dismantling the system than flaunting sports cars. And of course, Kami3 Mark is in the house, the man who could probably turn a grocery list into a revolutionary manifesto. He's here to keep us all on track with a healthy dose of dialectical materialism.
Assalamu alaikum, bitches. It's me, your man, Commie Mark. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Russian Troll Factory 182, I think we're on now. Ever closing in on that illustrious number 200. Greetings, comrades. How are you doing this week?
Pretty awesome.
Pretty damn well.
Good. So, Billy, obviously you're American, so you haven't been personally directly affected by the ongoing situation here in the UK.
What do you mean? I feel personally attacked by some of your police officers over there threatening that they're going to extradite me. So
that's only if you commit crime.
That was a thing that they said. That we will get to, like a really big topic this week and a really good show that I've put together. No sign of Kit Clarenberg so far. Hopefully he still joins us though. But yeah, it's such a good episode. Like, make sure you stick around to the end, because it's gonna be dope. What we're doing is I've set up like my own kangaroo court kind of a thing. You know, we're gonna do a struggle session. We're gonna look at the people who have been arrested, like for their online crimes. Like, we're going to look at their cases and pass our own judgments. Obviously, I'm the judge. AIOC is going to play the role of the prosecutor or whatever, and then everyone else is the jury in it, including the YouTube chat.
Where does that come from? That idiom, kangaroo court.
I don't know. It's got to be something about Australia, right?
I mean, they kind of do have the monopoly on the ruse.
On most marsupials.
All marsupials, they're all Australian. And Willie's here in the chat, one of the first bots to arrive. Bristolian Dave, good to see you. I feel this is the stream that finally gets Mark chucked in the gulag. Well, we'll find out. Hopefully, hopefully it's funny enough that it's excusable. Jimmy Godfrey says odds on Mark gets swatted by a crack team of lesbian nanas midstream. I hope not. That would be
Man,
terrible.
well, I mean, the headlines for it would be amazing. I mean, not that I want you to be arrested, but like seeing the videos come out on Twitter of you filming, like whatever female police officer would probably come to your house and arrest you and read you your charges. And then, you know, it's like known communist subversive in the UK is arrested for, you know.
They'll point to my comic books and say publishing far left, like pamphlets.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Pro Korean communist revolutionary incites violence. Yeah. Yeah. Look at the smile on your face when you hear that shit.
Okay, so I want to be. All right, let's start with this clip of the Prime Minister this week, or last week, whenever it was. Everything that we're about to talk about happened in the space of about 4 weeks. We'll get to it. Here's the Prime Minister,
And the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law.
The police, we just watched the police for a month get their asses handed to them by like the type of people who you see at Weatherspoons on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. and they're drinking pints without breakfast. And the police they've been routinely humiliated in this last month.
Police will be making arrests. Individuals will be held on remand. Yeah. Charges will follow, and convictions will follow.
Keir Starmer was in charge of the Crown Prosecution Service when they dismissed the claims against Jimmy Savile. This guy couldn't even build a case to convict the UK's most notorious paedophile, and he's coming for my freedom of speech. Good luck. I'm not scared.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves.
That's the internet part, and it. People whipping up this action online promise to crack down on those people, and that's what interests me as a topic today. That's what we're going to look at. We're going to try some of these cases, we're going to bring them before our kangaroo court, and dish out our own punishments, what we feel would be a fair punishment. Any questions so far? Does everyone understand the concept of what we're doing?
I understand.
Yeah, Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're with us. Okay, so before we start, though, just to make sure that we don't get in any trouble, because obviously I don't want to get into any trouble. Here's a bit of advice from the Crown Prosecution Service on the kind of things that they're prosecuting people for. So let's have a look.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred.
So no stirring up racial hatred.
Nothing likely.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It doesn't even doesn't even have to personally offend anyone. It can be just that somebody could potentially be offended by it.
Yeah, perceived. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gray happening here.
Yeah.
Perceived as potentially likely. Wow, man.
I wonder who gets to decide whether or not it's likely.
Perceived, potentially, likely, maybe, possibly.
Kenzo's been assassinated.
Fuck.
The Crimson Messiah returns from the dead. Welcome back.
Yes, this is a Matrix attack. I'm trying to be silenced and my free speech is being taken away.
All right. Oh, it happened again.
Oh no.
The Scarlet Satirist is back.
There's quite a few people showing up now. Jimmy, of course, is a long time member. Sir Kia Stasi, Kia Jong-un, Kia Stalin, the Kia leader, Korean Starmer. His nicknames are definitely developing a running theme. It makes me so angry when I see on Twitter people putting him on the body of Jong-un. It's like, how dare you insult Kim Jong-un by comparing the two? Like, we might have Great Britain, but they've got best Korea. Oh, Jan's in the chat as well. He says hello from the ISO cubes. Well, Huggin Dung's here as well. You can be arrested for observing disorder and anti-establishment views. Yeah, that's a line that comes up, anti-establishment views. Like, it's outrageous that you can police that. Like, isn't the opposition in government supposed to... I suppose that's part of the establishment too. Whatever, let's carry on with this dude.
If you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are...
Yeah, so retweets count, and just retweeting someone else's opinion counts as publishing and distributing racist material or whatever. So.
But those platforms aren't publishers; they're platforms. That's why they. Sorry.
No, yeah, I'm happy because you're saying things that are absolutely correct. Like,
Yeah.
that's the hypocrisy that they exploit, and it like
they wouldn't be getting the sweet kickbacks and tax write-offs here in the States for those companies if they were publishers. They're platforms. They are agnostic of the ideas that are being presented there.
Whichever one gets them the most legal power in whatever situation, that's what they'll say that they are. Demon Vizirax here as well. He says, he's banned off Twitter, and he says that it's up to Kia's mom if it's offensive or not.
It's Facebook posts too, not just Twitter.
Yeah, well, that's a thing as well. Like, you'll see that a lot of the blame gets attributed to Elon Musk. Like, but the cases that we're going to look at, Twitter posts are in a minority there. Like, so you'll see. We're getting ahead of ourselves right now. We're still learning what should we not do on the show to avoid getting into trouble with the federales. Like, no inciting racial hatred. It shouldn't. Like, we don't do that anyway. But that's one of the things that they're specifically targeting. He's about to say that they've got like hundreds of police on the
scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material.
So there's hundreds of police just going through Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and stuff looking for this kind of stuff. Which to me seems like a monumental waste of time when we know that we already have like GCHQ that tracks like everyone's social media and stuff. Like, it's not a secret organization. We've got like the 77th Brigade, like in the military, that does that they weaponized against, COVID truthers or whatever to cancel them and stuff. Like, the apparatus already exists. I don't know why they're wasting police to do that.
Yeah, going after shit posters is not gonna, deter civil unrest. Like, no. they're clowns.
No.
And then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Oh, scary. I'm so scared. Like,
you may not realize you're being a criminal, but you are.
I know, right. So the main things that they're getting people for is incitement for violence, inciting racial hatred and the spreading of misinformation and or disinformation. And I don't want to be guilty of spreading any disinformation or misinformation. So what I've done is I've gone directly to the horse's mouth to get the official state-sanctioned, approved narrative. So I want to summon to the courtroom an expert witness to set some context of what led up to these internet arrests that we're going to see. This is more for our American viewers. I know all the British people have been following along. So this is the dude, MI6 brown noser Paul Mason. Like, Kenzo, are you familiar with this guy a little?
No, I'm not, Mark. I'm not. He looks like a very nice chap, though. Proper, honest English gentleman. And I obviously would believe every word that comes out of his mouth.
Well, he did used to be employed by the BBC, like on Newsnight, as their business editor before leaving mainstream journalism to become like a independent guy or whatever. But in reality, pardon?
I didn't say anything. Well, yeah, a journalist's job is to report the truth. So, like I said, obviously,
yeah.
I love that your broadcasting network has become synonymous with a pornographic word in the modern age. It's pretty funny.
What do you mean by that, Billy?
It's It's a thing. You can look it up on the hub.
Okay.
I'll write that down. Watch BBC videos.
Make sure you watch all the way up to BBC 4, like get them all in. All right, where was I? So Paul Mason is. There's a lot of information out there that would suggest that he is associated with MI5, MI6. That might be misinformation, disinformation. So, as a disclaimer, I think the most innocent way that we could describe him is that he's a brown noser, like that. If he's not part of MI5, MI6, he's very much like, hi, MI5, MI6, look, I'm over here, I'm Paul Mason from Newsnight or whatever. Like, and he posts long blog posts about, the rise of fascism, like, and publishing books about it and stuff. So obviously, his opinion is definitely the correct one, and all the information that we're going to look at in this section explaining how the riots happened didn't come from me or AIOC or Billy or Kenzo. These are the words of respected Newsnight Paul Mason.
Objection!
Oh, yeah, and you just reminded me as well. I'll save that for when we get there. All right. So I'm hoping, Billy, that you'll be able to present Paul Mason's timeline of events that led up to the riots, and then we'll jump into the court cases, because that's kind of where it kicks off.
Okay, you want me to just read this?
Yes, please.
Okay. What the UK experienced in recent weeks was a planned far-right insurrection against the new Labour government, encouraged by US far-right and its media channels, signal boosted by ex-owner Elon Musk, and manipulated by Russian hybrid warfare.
So the official, if you think of this as this is the official version of what the intelligence agencies believe happened, not necessarily what did happen, but what they're going to press forward with in an attempt to further restrict our internet freedoms. All of this is going to be tied together in a way to, punish normal people or whatever. All right, let's carry on.
With Labour's victory on the 4th of July, American Independence Day, the far right lost the only symbolic government it has ever had, combined with the signal victories of pro-Gaza Muslim independent candidates in 4 traditionally labor conservative constituencies. My hypothesis is that this triggered a mixture of despair and outrage among the far-right base.
So, from what I've seen, first of all, the people on the right weren't happy with the conservative government either. Like, that's why they lost. Like, to say that they're upset that they lost doesn't compute in it. Like, contradicts itself. And then this idea that it's because because 4 pro-Gaza Muslims won seats, like, to suggest that that's a trigger for far-right violence, I think is pushing it a bit far, because my understanding is that the Israel-Palestine thing isn't like a unifying issue for the right. Like, some people hate Jews and some people hate Muslims, like, and they pick based on that. Like,
some people hate both.
Sorry, just before we move on, this composition that we have on screen right now, especially with Paul Mason in the back smiling behind them, it looks like this looks like a poster for a Bollywood movie.
Close. Close to the line on me. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and it's funny that he's arguing that the far right are angry that they lost their Indian prime minister, like, and the incredibly diverse conservative cabinet that they had. Like, I mean, sure, you can say insincerely diverse, like, and they're all elite, middle class, upper class twats. Like, how diverse are they really? But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a stretch. He's going to continue to do that to try and convince you that, like, this dude thinks that these riots are equal to January the 6th in America. Like, he's trying to paint them as the same thing, and so they can crack down what they're allowed to say. All right, so this part is the 3 main groups, like, that coordinated this conspiracy to start the riots, according to Paul Mason. Read it first, please.
These include Patriotic Alternative, Britain First, and the Homeland Party. Sorry, let me restart. There was some audio going in the background. These include Patriotic Alternative, Britain First, the Homeland Party, and networks associated with the former English Defence League. Also known as the PA, the BF, the HP, and the EDL.
The former EDL.
Yeah.
They no longer exist.
Yeah. But I've read a lot of documents from Hope. This charity Hope Not Hate. They annually they publish a report called The State of Hate, where they outline, like, oh, this is all the secret conspiracy that's in the far right or whatever. So it's just pulled a load of names of fascist organizations. That's the first layer, the top layer, or the bottom layer, depending on how you look at it.
Far-right influencers. These include Tommy Robinson, Daniel Thomas, also known as Danny Tomo, James Goddard, David Clues, some anonymous proxy social media accounts, and allied alt media video channels.
It's funny.
I know that guy.
Yeah, how? Tell us.
Huh? Oh, he's some lad from the same town as me and Andrew Tate. He's a nice bloke, comes from a nice family, good, strong English gentleman. Well,
I think
Irish.
I sat next to him at a footy game once.
I went to a footy game with him once when they played against Liverpool, and he dressed up like the Scousers from Harry Enfield. You know them. Calm down, and the Liverpool fans really didn't like it.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, so we've got these fascist groups, that work in Telegram and stuff like that. Then on top of that, you got these far right influencers who have big platforms on your Twitter and other social medias. So that's what he's saying is the second layer, and then really the third layer.
Oh.
And the third layer, right-wing populist influencers. These are the public figures allied to right-wing populism and even conservatism, some of whom have been radicalized. Some excuse far-right violence or repeat the disinformation and themes that trigger it. Many are regular guests on Talk TV and GB News, but are also often featured on mainstream TV debates.
Yeah. So you noticed at the first bit of linguistic trickery or whatever, where he +1 conservatives into right-wing populism,
right,
and just brushed past it like it was nothing.
And somehow GB News isn't mainstream. I'm pretty sure that isn't that considered. I mean, it may not be the side you agree with, but isn't that considered mainstream?
I think that they don't consider themselves mainstream. I would consider them mainstream because they're on TV. And for me, that's the only prerequisite to be mainstream TV, to be on an actual TV rather than the internet. But they are comparable to a Fox News or something like that. Blending the news with opinion and stuff. But every channel is doing that now, aren't they? None of them are just delivering the facts like they're supposed to. Not even Billy's beloved BBC's. Cool. So yeah. What we got next? Oh, okay. So this is a timeline of stuff that happened, and ahead of the riots starting. And I want to give some credit to Paul Mason here, because all the mainstream news people will tell you that the riots started with the stabbing in Southport incident. And what that does is it removes a lot of the context and the build up to what happened. So he's going to outline for us now some of that stuff. So if you could read this one for us, Billy, please.
On July 18th, 2024, a riot took place in... I don't know how to say that.
Called Hare Hills. Like a hill with loads of hares.
Oh, okay. On July 18th, 2024, a riot took place at Hare Hills, Leeds, after Roma people resisted police aiding social services to remove children from a family. Green Party councillor Mathan Ali, who had enraged Islamophobes by shouting Allahu Akbar when he defeated Labour in May's local election, was filmed trying to calm the rioters. Oh, looks like he did a good job.
Yeah, so that happened. A burning question, I'm sure, that people want to know is that Buss is a Plaxton president. I just know that.
Oh my God.
But anyway, so I want to show you, first of all, the bus fire incident. Let's have a little look at that.
Jesus! Oh my fucking days! Oh my fucking days! What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yo! What are you doing? Jesus, look at the guys, Jesus. What? No way. No way. That's fucking crazy, fam.
So, you know, they burned down a bus or whatever.
Those
A
British
beautiful first Claxton president. Here is the police running away from the ensuing riot.
What is this going? No way!
That gentleman.
No way! Oh my fucking lord! Oh my!
What'd you say? Sorry, Kanzo.
I was just saying, for the benefit of the people watching, that gentleman said the police are going. Just to translate for someone that wouldn't understand our colloquial dialects.
Let's.
What is this going? Oh my god! No way! No way! What is this going?
Please get loads of them. And please.
Oh my god! No way! No way! No.
The order came in to just leave, like, and let them tire themselves out or whatever, like they're 4-year-olds.
Right.
And what's interesting about the Hare Hills case in particular is that about 10 years ago, the same area had a race riot over police mistreatment of the Asian people in the area, and it like so.
Well, like
police...
Japanese people and Chinese.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there was loads of them. And the point is, the police were deliberately trying to avoid like a repeat of the protests from a decade earlier, where they were accused of police violence against.
So those angry locals there that were throwing missiles or like objects at the police, are they far right rioters, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like from what I understand. Yeah. No, the point is that this happened, and everybody saw. Were reminded that when there's enough people, there's nothing that the state can do, like that they'll run away, like reminded people of their people power and that we all have, and how little police there is, how badly trained the police are, like you know, how the criminal justice system is another area where the government is just failing. Like, you know, people remembered that from this. We'll skip this one. It's just that he's saying all of the people they previously mentioned as being part of like his graph of hate or whatever, you know, they all shared that out. This one we can speed through a little bit. Like in London, 2 different groups of Bangladeshis were fighting over some issues back in Bangladesh. Like, and again, you can see there's one police dude here. Like, so you know, this led to accusations of 2-tier policing.
This actually, Mark, sorry, this one was actually, from what I read, was they were angry that a police officer in Bangladesh killed another citizen, so that they were rioting in London and went to the London police station.
Yeah. So again, this is another case of right now you could easily build a case that someone's trying to instigate a violence against the police, you know, trying to stoke like division between ethnic minorities and the police, and it, like the police are over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Especially, here's another one. This dude stabbed a soldier to death. Remember, this is all like within days of each other, right? Like sometimes just one day, the next day, the next day. They initially didn't name this guy either. Said that he had a mental illness, and more people said two-tier policing, like that's a thing. Then we get to this incident in Manchester Airport, right? So, Billy, have you seen this? Do you know what this one is about?
This is police beating up some Muslims here for something. I can't. I feel like I recognize this, but
definitely for something.
Yeah. Not for nothing.
For me, again, remember, I'm seeing all of this as right now, somebody out there pulling strings to organize some division between immigrants, minorities, and the police. And like so far, all of this is like stacked. Look, I'll show you the video. This is the first video that came out on the day.
Oh shit! Oh, move up!
See that?
Oh shit!
Face.
Oh yeah.
Outrageous. Like he's already been tased. Like you don't need to.
Yeah.
Him in the face.
He's clearly down and not a threat.
Tree Goblin says show the full clip, which we will. That's what I'm going to do next. But it's interesting that first only this small smidge of clip come out the part where it looks like the police are beating up minorities and it like feeding more into this police beating up minorities thing. Dave says they've not been charged for attacking the police yet. I'm not sure if I think it's
they're on
case. I think
they're on bail. They're on bail for pending further investigation.
So here is the full context for the clip. Like, have a look at this one. So here they are. Like, here's the police. They're trying to handcuff this dude in the blue. And his mom comes over. And then, a little scuffle breaks out. And this dude is whomping on. Look over here at this guy in the blue. He's took down one. He's took down two. Here he comes down. He's tasing his friend. He's took down a third one, before finally getting tased. And what I'm saying is that the British police, in the build-up to the riots, were absolutely humiliated. Like the whole world has seen how inept and ineffectual they are at their jobs, and people were reminded of that. So then we get to this one, which, if you could read this.
On July 29th, July 2024, a horrific attack resulted in the killing of 3 children and many injured in the Southport. A well-documented online disinformation campaign spread the rumor that a suspect was a Muslim refugee with a false name invented and circulated on Elon Musk's platform X, formerly Twitter. The alleged suspect is a British-born Christian of Rwanda origin. That's...
To me, it kind of sounds like he's making out that the misinformation about the killer being released is worse than what happened to these poor little girls.
Yeah, there's certainly, you could argue that based on what he's saying here.
Yeah, just from that, what I've read.
Yeah, I think that the response to the reaction to the stabbing has been bigger and more powerful from the government and the media than its reaction to the stabbings themselves.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's certainly true. But now that brings us up to the riots kicking off, and this idea of a false name being invented and circulated on social media and the internet, which is where we come to the court cases that we're going to look at. Like I said, I am the judge. This is the first person that we're going to be looking at. Let me have a look. Let's load this one in.
Is a 55-year-old woman from Cheshire. She's accused of spreading false information online about the Southport stabbings, arrogantly pointing the finger at an innocent man, Ali Al-Shakati, as the attacker. This little nugget of misinformation spread like wildfire and supposedly fueled the riots that tore through the nation.
Apparently, this one woman naming the suspect falsely as a Muslim immigrant caused the entire riots on it. Like, that's what they're trying to say.
The state, desperate to protect its crumbling narrative, has conveniently decided to scapegoat this woman as the cause of all the unrest. So, jury, is the government really addressing the true causes of the riots, or are they just using her as a convenient scapegoat to shift the blame?
What do you think? Like, can one person naming a person start a riot? Does that feel plausible to you? Like, enough to send someone to jail for?
Well, she's already been sent to jail, right? And she's
been arrested for it. Yeah, jailed. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, and she had an expedited case as well. Right. So obviously the government are not going to put someone in jail for, like, nothing. Obviously this lady's a criminal and should feel the full force of the law, for the greater good.
I'm trying to take this satire pretty seriously just when asked this particular question. Can one person be charged for something of starting it? That's a very...
If I'd have retweeted what she said, basically I could also be facing the same jail term.
Right.
And
I mean, it's like she's just like that guy that looked like he was like just casually like lighting like the grill to his barbecue as he stood next to that bus. I mean, you do charge the person that strikes the match to incite violence, even if it was just a match that would have gone out on its own and other people came in to fan the flames. So I would say man, by the letter of the law, I would say yes. It doesn't feel great.
Should we let me find the exact quote of what she said, so that might help you.
I mean, because like other people could like they need to do their own goddamn research and be like, oh, I wonder what this woman's saying is true, and then act accordingly. But
yeah, I would say to the question that she asked us, the lady, you cannot determine that she is solely responsible for sparking it off. There's a lot of culminating factors that actually led to the civil unrest. It was like a tinderbox. There was just waiting for the correct spark. And for each person, I guess that spark's going to be a different subject. You can't say across the board that this lady's comments are what led to everybody deciding to go out and riot.
Right. Because it's like, yeah, because if there were circumstances like with that, I immediately think of like, if there was, say, rumors going around about someone murdering someone else, and then someone, after absorbing all that, like then says out loud, like, "Whoa, Kami Mark's a murderer," and then other people hear that one person because they're the first one to kind of like say it out loud, and then you're like, "You're inciting, you're accusing someone of murder." It's just like, no, I'm just repeating what I just have heard. Then I would say, yeah, then she's not guilty. Yeah.
Okay, so Tree Goblin says the false name came from a Pakistan website, which I will get to in a moment.
This is starting to get interesting.
A thing that's interesting to me, at least, is this woman, 55-year-old, in the media wasn't named, despite being the woman guilty of naming the terrorist or whatever, falsely. So I'm just going to name her. This is her, Bernadette Spofford. Like she's the 55-year-old woman who's being arrested. She's like a prominent anti-vax social media person or whatever. Yeah, objection, correct. But I wanted to dig out the tweet of what she actually said. So where's the post? Here we go. If we just look at this highlighted part, let's zoom in a little bit.
You gotta actually have the pointed finger in there because, like, you don't know like what kind of hand symbol he's making if the hand's off screen. That looks kind of.
There we go. So this is the exact tweet that she put out in it, like the fake name saying he was a suspect. That he was an asylum seeker who came by boat and was on an MI6 watch list. In her defense, she tried to use this as a defense, saying, if this is true, like as if that perfectly defends against, it's a catch-all for if it's not true. Like,
So wait, which one's the fake one? MI5 or MI6?
No, they're both real. So MI5 deals with like internal stuff.
Okay.
And MI6 is international.
Thank you for educating me on that. I thought one was the real one, and then one was the movie one that they use.
I thought that when I was a child as well.
Oh,
I don't know why.
I'm childlike.
Bristolian Dave says it's crazy how quick these rioters have been sentenced and shows that they can deal out swift justice when they actually want to. Yeah, that's a recurring theme, like that, they can crack down on crime like they've always been able to. Like it's only after getting so humiliatedly embarrassed that they're finally doing something. And some credit to them that as soon as they started processing them, like everything died down when people saw that, they can get in trouble for doing crimes. A lot of the people doing crimes, it's funny that they call them protests. Like, I never saw a sign.
Mostly peaceful.
I think that having a sign, having signs is like a key, crucial part of having a protest. Like, I don't know if you can protest without signs.
I mean, that's always been my dilemma. Like, I love to protest, but I just don't know how to show it.
Yeah, make signs, Billy. You're an artist. Tree Goblin says, at the time she believed it to be true, which isn't against the law. That's what people are saying. Is she not a victim of misinformation herself in this? Okay, so what's interesting, and to go back to Tree Goblin's point earlier that the false name came from a Pakistan website. So the name was also circulated by a fake news channel called Channel 3 now, which on first inspection looks like a Russian troll news website. But the Daily Mail, I think it was, tracked down the owner who bought it, like some Pakistan guy whose name I've forgotten, who was running it. And, the stories are generated by AI, like based on whatever's trending in news, like at the moment. This woman, Bernie Spofford, such a great name for someone who's like spoffing out like misinformation. That she says that she saw it on Twitter, like the name, that she didn't invent it, that she'd seen it previously. But her mention of it is the earliest mention of the name on Twitter. Like, you can go and check, like that's a thing you can do, and it's search by most recent and scroll to the bottom. And this claim about Channel 3 now, like they posted the name 2 minutes after Bernadette Spofford like said the name on Twitter or anything. So she couldn't have got it from them.
Oh, timelines.
Timeline doesn't add up, yeah. But at the same time, how incredible that she can say it, and 2 minutes later, Russian news, well, a fake Russian news, because it's actually from Pakistan, 2 minutes later, a website has an article like written with the name in, which, could suggest that the name was floating around somewhere else outside of Twitter, like
4chan, yeah. Or
because
Kiwi
2 minutes
farms, yeah.
That's too incredible.
Those dens of right-wing propaganda.
There was lots of speculation, though, Billy, as to who the perpetrator was, because like this crime and many others that preceded it, the police have been accused of, when it is a white perpetrator, they'll release the name, the address, and when it's someone who isn't necessarily a British born, they tend to withhold information about the said person. So a lot of people are angry for that reason.
Right, like the grape gangs that you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We definitely have them allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bristolian Dave says the sentences did what Keir wanted. It quieted the dissent. It didn't deal with the underlying issues that will now marinate and become a much bigger issue later.
Ooh,
One of the problems, is, that they forced all of these people underground, and that's why it's so hard for them to track, who's doing what, because you guys got rid of them from public spaces, by taking away their voices and driving them underground. It's the same stuff, man. We saw all of this with the Islamic State and that, whatever. That's what we're saying, Billy. I think you said not that you wouldn't sentence her to jail or prison. In this universe, we can do cruel and unusual punishments. We don't have a 13th Amendment or whatever one that is. So if you have a deliciously ironic punishment, then I'll take those.
What do you think, Billy? What does she get?
If the picture were a little clearer, I'd sentence her to that's dirty. I'm not gonna say that.
Careful, Billy. Extreme misogyny is now terrorism in the UK. Apparently.
Possibly re-education camp, but an outpatient one, so just some type of mandatory wrong think training.
I think she'll get some of that for sure. I hope that involves a pickaxe and breaking.
Yeah, no. That's what I was going to say. If we're going full 1984, I think we should have a room 101.
Yeah, have a room
and
101.
send her to it. Yeah.
No, I mean, but and that's the sarcastic answer, or the unreasonable one. I would say the reasonable one, just because I was actually trying to take the question pretty seriously as well. I would say that if I was a judge seriously trying to sentence her on this, I would sentence her to social media ban. She's not allowed to use social media now for the next 3 years, full stop.
You have to, you also have to take into account her previous. So if she hasn't got a previous criminal record, and this is her
that's why I would say no. Yeah, I would say no jail time, probation, social media.
12-month suspended sentence, and maybe not a social media ban. You can use social media, but if you post anything untoward or deemed insightful or hateful, then you'll be recalled and
or potentially likely insightful.
Potentially likely to be interpreted as hateful.
Interpreted as hateful.
Yeah.
She's like, I love cats. They're like, you're off to jail, lady.
Give us your cruel and unusual punishments in the chat. I was just telling the chat, send in your cruel and unusual punishments. How the chat is part of the jury. So I am looking for an opinion from them. as well.
Yeah,
I think
the extreme one, I would say strap her to a chair and force her eyes open, a la Clockwork Orange style, and make it so that when she even thinks about saying anything untoward, she gets sick to her stomach.
That's an option. Just I just had to watch through 2 adverts, you dirty commie. That's good. At least it hasn't been demonetized yet. One of the interesting things about this case, she's one of those advocates of the 2-tier policing, that the police weren't naming suspects, like when, the police also didn't name her, like I had to expose who she was, but I say I did. The internet worked it out, because the internet is smart, and it's surprising to me that she's 55. I wouldn't have guessed that. She's angry about her age being doxed.
Now that orange outfit makes her look younger.
I mean, I'm not for a blonde-haired white woman in this picture, she doesn't look too bad. I mean, sorry, that actually probably could be construed as racist.
With that misogynistic terrorism there, I believe.
You just called her a basic white bitch, Billy, in my eyes.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Billy, you can't say that anymore. That's like 9/11 now.
Oh yeah.
Say that, you moron. Demon Vizorak from the chat with a great suggestion says, change her name to Bernadette Spoke Wrong. I like that.
Calm down there, Bernie.
That's a severe punishment.
So that's where we're going. I'm going to pass the judgment now. What we're going to do is we're going to change her name to Bernadette Spoke Wrong. I'm not going to send her to prison for a tweet. I don't think that it's possible to prove that one single tweet started the violence, like we were saying. It just needed a spark, and she did provide that. But anybody could have provided that.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking aloud and an open accusation, I don't think is worthy of imprisonment of any kind.
I would make her do some kind of community service, in the area affected, and go and sweep up broken glass or something.
27 months of hard labor.
Well, I mean, I think that she should be the groundskeeper for, and this is a little dark, but I think that she should be the groundskeeper for those 3 child graves for a period of time.
Oh man,
that's dark.
Damn, that's dark.
Okay, that's what we're going with. Bernadette Spoke Wrong. You have to now.
You have been sentenced.
Graves. Yeah. All right, who's next?
Your Honor, the next defendant is Jordan Parler, a 28-year-old man who, from the cozy safety of his home, decided it would be a brilliant idea to use Facebook to incite attacks on an asylum hotel.
So I'm not going to show any footage of this, but people were burning down hotels with asylum seekers in, which is obviously I condemn that. That's actual terrorism. Not like saying that Bernadette Spoke Wrongeth is mildly pretty. People could have died in it.
That's wrong.
I mean, because she didn't say, "Hey, let's go burn down or kill that guy." She just spoke his name, not this guy's full Aryan. I can just tell by his haircut.
Oh.
This guy did say stuff like that in it. So
he burned. Yeah, that is I disavow the. Sorry, I was saying I disavow the burning of buildings. But what did you say? They had what in them? Asylum seekers.
Yes. Correct.
What, people fleeing war-torn areas that have come to this country via legitimate routes?
Yeah,
that's the definition of asylum seekers, right?
Yeah, on little boats coming over the channel and stuff.
What? No, that's that. If you come over, I think Billy, there's a law, the 1974 Immigration Act, and if you come into the country by illegal means, you can't actually seek asylum. So
I don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Some people would describe the people in those buildings as something different, but still, it doesn't give you the right to set fire to a building containing these people.
Like even, yeah, I there's no justification to burn down a building full of people.
No,
like,
no, of course not.
Well, this guy didn't burn down any buildings, but he was like encouraging that kind of behavior. We'll let her carry on AIOC, and then we'll discuss the case.
We locked him up, claiming his words could lead to real-world violence. The government loves to talk tough when it comes to people inciting violence. But jury, is this truly about keeping order, or is it more about the state's fear of losing control over who gets to influence public opinion?
All right. So I've dug out some quotes from things what he said, like to highlight, you know, the type of things that he was saying.
I hate some of the modern language, and just Bristolian Dave brought it up, and I had to just say it's just like, yeah, they were burning down a hotel full of dreamers.
Yeah, that is what they would
doctors and engineers.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things what he said. Every man and their dog should be smashing the fuck out of the Britannia Hotel. That's one of the hotels. That's clearly saying go and it's chat like saying you're not a real man if you're not out there doing that. Like,
or a real dog.
Yeah, or a real dog. I think that definitely counts as incitement. There he is. Any more?
Can you do one of those those kind of like redneck British accents when you read that quote of his?
A redneck British accent.
Yeah, like a
low
educated, like a low educated yokel. I don't know what you guys
like me, like my.
I was gonna say, just read it in your own voice, then, Kenzo. You'll be fine.
You motherfuckers.
That's the one that we've got from him. This guy, though, was the first person to be charged with this kind of a crime, and is the person responsible for us now having this phrase of armchair rioter, which is quite a good little phrase.
Armchair rioter.
So I think that one's quite clear. That's a definite incitement to violence. Kenzo, you'll remember when we was at Comic-Con a few weeks ago, and I was challenging people on free speech issues in the comic book world. I kept saying, yeah, free speech, everything, but no inciting violence. I said that to every single person. Just not trying to cover myself. I've said that from the beginning. That's long been my position. Nicholas is here as well. Hello. Please leave a like if you're watching. Share it at your own risk, because retweeting counts. So punishments for this guy. What we're saying, fellas.
I think you need to shave his beard and his head firstly. Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that first.
Sure.
Okay, well, if I'm going to take into because I just started thinking about something else, since we're sentencing these people figuratively, is comparing it to other crimes, inciting, what's worse, inciting violence or violence?
I think the violence is worse than inciting violence.
Right. So
it is worse, but if you
It can, but the insight can lead to worse outcomes than a potentially singular violent act, right?
And the sentencing for incitement is supposed to reflect that. If you incite someone to go out and commit assault, you would get an assault charge. If you incite someone out to go out and commit arson, like this gentleman did, potentially you should get an arson charge. It should be proportionate to if he set fire to the building himself.
Oi, bruv.
You get
people should be go smashing the fuck out of them. Then how dare I can't even do it. It's horrible. I would say 12 months.
I was just looking to see if I could find out what he actually got. It doesn't seem to be in the article that I grabbed. See what the real police did.
I mean, for arson, you can get 10 years, I think, because they did release a UK.gov article listing the sentencing you can receive for specific crimes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 12 months actual time, 5 years probation.
So I'm just looking now. The real police, the real criminal justice peeps, they gave him 20 months.
20 months. Okay.
A bit longer than what you said. Looks like a wrong one to me. Like
oh yeah.
Oh man, he's just he's got like multiple armbands for different days of the week in his closet for sure.
I feel like this guy has asked me for £1 before, like not in a rude way. People do that and come up in the car park or whatever and ask for £1.
He definitely looks like he wears Air Max trainers.
He looks like he doesn't know how to pull out. Wow.
Jesus, I feel called out right there.
So, let's see if anyone in the chat's offering any crueler or unusual punishments.
I think he should be a lifetime ban from JD Sports.
Incitement to murder is the same as sentence.
And a Greg's ban as well. Lifetime Greg's ban. Well, that would be I'd be heartbroken if I got that.
Greg's is a whole other thing. Well, maybe we'll do an episode about Greg's, like, and why they're shady.
For sure. Yeah, for sure, bro.
Bristolian Dave says, tut, judging someone's appearance. It's not his fault he has 7 kids to 6 different definitely wear trackies to job interviews. Yeah, so we're not inciting racial hatred and we're not inciting violence. Like, we're just mocking them, aren't we? So what I'm going to say for a sentence, we're going to go with 12 months because they definitely broke the rules. And in cruel and unusual punishments, we are going to ban him from JD Sports and other chav clothing manufacturers. From now on, he has to buy all of his clothes from Bon Marsh, you know, that old lady shop. That's where he has to shop now. And we're going to shave his hair and his beard, and he's got to be covered in.
Yeah, definitely give him a bald head look. That would help for sure.
Because
got to lean into the far right thuggery thing, you know.
Right.
So this person is sentenced.
It's caught me by surprise both times.
I really need to go for a piss, so I'm just gonna.
Here I have a perfect video to play. While you're taking a piss real quick, we're gonna take a quick authoritarian break.
In your screen, so I can just give you a big screen.
Can I actually? Can I share the video? Because then it'll have audio. Because I don't think I can.
That should work.
Let's take a quick quick authoritarian break while Mark needs to take care of something.
I need to go and hose down some of the prisoners.
Yep.
A bit tired of hearing people saying,
Hang on, let me put it back.
I'm a bit tired of hearing people saying, I don't know how to do my job properly. And I think that's really mean. I remember being criticised. Just remind everybody how criticised I was. That's not acceptable. I hope everybody likes staying at home because we are going to go into lockdown forever. Nobody from New South Wales is going anywhere. We will have 2 million police officers standing at the corner of every street to monitor every single citizen. We're really watching very closely. I hope this really will be devastating. We don't like to be heavy-handed, but what we need to say today now is that if you leave home, we will give you a death sentence. Please know that you will be shot in the face, and I hope it's painful. You are required to obey what we say when we say it, and if you don't, you can prepare to die. I've said from the outset, I don't care about your life and the life of those around you. I don't really give a shit. The government is now about to announce what we call the final solution. We are inspired by history and realise we can very easily permanently get rid of anybody thinking illegal thoughts. We aim to have absolutely zero freedom. Follow the rules or else you'll never be seen again. If you think you can live freely under our very strict and harsh regime, I have news for you. If you even consider breaking the rules, I will personally stab you in the head and rip your guts out. We have 24 hours surveillance of every single person in the community. We want to cause anguish, hurt and suffering to as many citizens as possible. Every day at 11 o'clock, every citizen in this state must listen to me. This is the Fourth Reich, and I will make sure that I never, ever, ever give up power till the day I die.
Wow.
Wow. That is really something. Demon Vizirac says you can smell you break the rules. Alright, cool. Alright, so who's up next? Let's have a look at this next case. Oh, Billy. This one might mean something to you.
Honor. The next defendant is Billy Thompson, a man from Cumbria who thought it would be smart to post an offensive comment on Facebook, complete with some tasteless racist emojis in response to police actions during unrest.
I didn't know that there were racist emojis.
Well, yeah.
I thought those have all been vetted to be like super, like vanilla. Like, okay.
I'm quite offended by the ginger ones.
Did anyone else see the post that Elon Musk did yesterday of the gun emoji and all the different platforms of how and through the years of how it's been replaced, like
with squirty guns?
Well, I love how there's 1 year with for Twitter before he owned it when it did change to like the silly 1960s green ray gun, and then changed from a revolver to a 44 Magnum. Like with clip, like Beretta pistol. I was just like, oh yeah, man, you upgraded that shit.
So I'll explain to you the racist emojis that he posted. Right?
Oh, I think I see some from Tree Goblin already.
It's none of those. It's none of those ones that he's kindly shared.
Jesus Christ.
So what happened was the police, right, put out a Facebook post saying to the effect, we're issuing like a dispersal order in the area. You know, if you're in
Section
the area,
35.
fuck off, you know. And he replied to that with a Facebook post saying, filthy bastards, then an emoji of a brown with a brown skin color and a picture of the gun. What are you talking about? Like,
wait, the brown and the brown skin color? I'm sorry, can you?
So, you know, when you choose emojis, it offers you a skin color, don't it? Like, I always use yellow. That's the default, like a Simpson. Like, I'm deliberately not race like into it. Like, to do that, you have to make a conscious choice in it to do that. Like,
I don't need a Caucasian like variant of a thumbs up emoji. It's fucking ridiculous.
I don't care enough. I don't care enough about my thumb being a certain color that it has to be represented on the screen. Which is
Right.
retarded behavior.
It's real. It is retarded.
I couldn't find any screenshots of the tweet in question. I assume that the gun was pointing at the face.
I don't know if I want to see it. It sounds highly offensive.
Yeah, you do have to be 18, like, if you want to see. And that's the thing as well. A lot of these cases, like, the specifics of what they did aren't included. So it's very difficult to build a map of what you're not allowed to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, they should be front and center, like the tweets and posts that they have made. Anyway, let's let AIOC carry on.
Of course, it didn't take long for the authorities to pounce on this digital faux pas, leading to his swift imprisonment.
Oh yeah, because he replied to the police, like it was a reply to the police, and it's not like the police went looking for him or whatever. He replied to the police. That's fucking dumb. Like, on Twitter, we have a thing, subtweeting, where you talk about someone without tagging them or retweeting them or something. Like, it's basic internet stuff, bro.
What's a chav?
Kenzo, I guess you'd be more expert at answering this question.
What? Why? What are you trying to say?
That's your demographic, isn't it?
Well, what are you not one too then?
No, I'm not a chav, bro.
No.
I'm a grebo.
Well, a chav just kind of refers to like a British working class, white or poor, or someone that lives in a council house, poorly educated. Like the Billy Piper character in Doctor Who, like she was supposed to be a chav.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then, what's a greeble? What did you just say?
What's a grebo?
Grebo. Yeah.
A grebo is kind of like
So first of all, no one would say that in a political discussion or whatever. Like that. So a grebo is like someone who likes like rock music and grunge music and stuff. And
okay.
When I was a teenager, that was the distinction in it. Like
like a bit of a puffter, like paints his nails, listens to The Cure and shit. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those guys would be wearing their Burberry caps and their tracksuit bottoms with their trainers and their white Nike socks, and then we'd be flouncing around with that long hair.
And there's a subsection of them called roadmen too, but that's slightly a bit different.
That's not like the metal men, which are gypsies.
No.
Right?
No. Like a chav tends to have your colloquial dialect accent. Like the London chavs will be like, "Oh, you alright, mate," and the northern ones will be like, "Oh, you fucking bastard," or whatever.
Oh, that's the one I like. Yeah.
And the Bristolian ones sound like Bristolian Dave. But then, like the roadmen tend to have more of a they blend a little bit of the Jamaican patois with it as well. Yeah, and they say things like "suck yourself" and like weird stuff. Yeah,
the teeth sucking, and they also managed to make handbags a fashionable accessory for men. That's a thing.
It's a satchel.
They're man bags. Man bags. Yeah.
Handbags, they're called.
Satchel, yeah.
It's a handbag for your hand where you can keep all of your ham. That's specifically what
I like how here in the US we have fanny packs, but I believe in Australia they call them bum bags.
We call them bum bags.
Because that's what they're called. Because your fanny's at the front. That's why it's called a front bum sometimes.
Yeah, but the fanny's at the back in America.
Yeah.
They're just wrong, aren't they?
Oh, really? The fanny's in the front in the UK? That's crazy. I didn't know that. Okay.
No, girls have a front bum as well, Billy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when I get a chubby, I call it a hunch front.
did we get onto chubbies from racist emojis? I'll never know. Demon Vizirac says that chavs are working class, prone to crime and burglary.
Prone to crime. Nice.
Tree Goblin says chav equals a poor. Dave says that chavs are the kids that hang around news agents that always ask you to buy them fags, which means cigarettes, obviously. And Dave said there's another advert. That's good. We're over an hour in and still not demonetized. Tree Goblin says, get premium. I'd much prefer you become a channel member if you're going to throw money. All right, let's have a...
State, ever eager to tighten its grip on the digital public square, has decided to make an example out of this guy, painting him as the poster child for the dangers of unchecked speech online. But jury, is this really about protecting public safety, or is it about the government overreaching to control even the most trivial forms of online expression? Your Honor.
So this one, for me, it's similar to the Bernie Spoke Ronk case, where, you know, it's a tweet, a guy sharing some emojis. Like, is that really worth jail time? Like, you know, if he shared a picture of some police brutality or some, you know, like a real picture, you know, maybe, but it really feels like a stretch to send someone to jail for some emojis.
Just, I'm not completely clear. Just because we kind of got, I mean, it was my fault. We kind of got into the weeds again. Can you break down again what the actual Facebook post was again? Like what he said, and then what the emojis were.
The police put out a Facebook post saying we're issuing like a clearance order or whatever it was called, that in the town, so people in the area go home, like, or you'll get arrested or whatever.
Get stabbed in the face, right?
Yep. Yeah. To which he directly replied to them, to the police post, saying "filthy bastards," and then done a emoji of
black
a black
face
person,
and then
a gun. To it, yeah. Presumably the gun pointing at the black person. Otherwise, it looked like a black person holding a gun. In his defense, like in the real case, he tried to say, I was talking about the police being filthy bastards or whatever. Like, but why would you make the conscious choice to choose a brown face? Like, we've covered that already. You have to go through an extra layer of choice, like, to do that. Like, don't do that.
Right.
So that's what he done. What do you think? How you sending him to jail for over some emojis?
I think an emoji ban, possibly.
Yeah,
that
could be an option. Here he is.
Like 36 months emoji ban. Like, that's a serious. You have to give out a proportionate sentence.
He's not allowed to use emojis. He's only allowed to use ASCII characters.
All
right, let me give you another piece of information that might help you with this one. So the guy shared these emojis on his protected Facebook account. So, you know, only his friends and family could see what he had shared. So normally I would point at them and say, bro, someone in your family ratted on you. But remember, he did reply directly to the police, which is really fucking stupid. Like, for me, that's the bigger crime than the emojis. Like, he should be punished for his idiocy.
Right. I honestly, like, no satire, no sarcasm. Like, that would just be a warning and a probation from me, because, like, usually, I mean, at least here in the United States, when you say something at a police officer, it usually is a lesser crime than if you perpetuate it against just another average citizen, because a lot of people have reactions to the police and authorities like all the time. Like people say shit to the cops like all the time and aren't charged, but when they say something to another fellow citizen, then like the law steps in, you know. So yeah, I would be inclined to since he replied directly to the police, you know, yeah, it would be a warning and a probation from me.
What you're saying, Kenzo?
Yeah, maybe like you said, like he should lose his Facebook account, and again, I think a suspended sentence. This one to me, it was offensive for sure. Yeah, but I wouldn't say it was a clear incitement. It could have been argued by a good lawyer that it was just offensive, stupid, and you know, yeah. Like, I think this one should have definitely been no jail time.
I'm just looking for the information about what time he got. He got a 12-week prison sentence from the real Crown Prosecution Service. But another piece of information worth noting is that he had 9 previous convictions for 13 offences. October 2002. So I think I'm gonna fall in line with Tree Goblin, who suggests life hard labor. Tree Demon Vizirac says he can only use Hello Kitty emojis to communicate.
Wait! How many previous offenses? For what again?
9 out of 13, I think it said. Let me just have another look at that. 9 previous convictions for 13 offences. Like, it doesn't say that they were online offences, like my initial reaction is.
Right, they could be, taking candy from a baby, littering, crossing the street against the light. Like, he's got what they call in the business, he's got priors. Yeah. Well, then you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and side with the judge on that one. I think that one's appropriate. Yeah. With that many priors, it's like he's clearly a dissident and needs to be straightened out.
Yeah, I'm gonna change mine to 12 weeks isn't that severe, and he's a prolific reoffender, and he kind of looks a little bit like Mark Zuckerberg.
He is a chap. That guy's 100% chap.
That's going to be a common theme that you're probably going to notice. So I think I agree with everyone. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. Like, I'd say that it has to be hard labor for the 12 weeks. For cruel and unusual punishment, after we have shaved this guy, like, I'm going to glue it to this guy.
Yeah. Give this guy the hair. Make him wear the hair. Yeah.
All right, Billy Thompson, you have been sentenced.
The next defendant is Wayne O'Rourke, a 35-year-old who cleverly used his X, formerly Twitter, account to stir up riots while padding his pockets with profits from his incendiary posts. Now facing 3 years behind bars, the authorities are labeling him a dangerous instigator. The state is always quick to target those who challenge the status quo, especially when there's money involved. But, jury, is this truly about maintaining order, or is the government more concerned about controlling who profits from the chaos?
All right, so where are we?
I would definitely say the latter in that question. I honestly do believe that they think that they're doing good and preventing or trying to maintain order.
The state.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mark, this is that sick of it guy on Twitter.
Yeah. So this is one of the ones where I've actually been able to go through, like, and look at the guy's tweets and stuff, like, to see what exactly that he did. Like, and there was nothing there that I found like to be offensive or particularly bad. Like, but there are some examples that the state has used as evidence of incitement or whatever. Which
Well,
I
I
can show
think I've seen a few of his posts myself, and he does like to proliferate a lot of the right wing talking points, and he does he was quite a prolific poster during the riots and was putting up a lot of the stuff and saying this is what the media won't show you, but he was also one that was re-reporting stuff that turned out to be false later on.
Yeah. So here's some quotes for you. Here's one. People of Southport, where the fuck are you? Get out on the street. We convicted that guy a minute ago for a very similar sort of sentence to that.
Yeah, but this one's a little more open to interpretation because, like, wait, go back up to that. I'm gonna read.
Bit, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a bit more ambiguous.
I can read that with a totally different tone, and it could be taken as like, people of Southport, where the fuck you at? Get out in the streets.
Let's party.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's like right after that, you can go, whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, so he also was sharing pictures of the local mosque, like where the riots were going on, and a video of this burning police car in Sunderland areas again. Here's some more quotes here. Sunderland, go on, lads! Like with them kicking off in Sunderland.
Was that below Was that below the picture of the burning police car then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh no, I think it was when Sunderland Police Station was on fire. Like.
Either way, yeah, it's a bit spicy, isn't it?
Yeah. Starmer has basically said it's us against them. Hold the line. Like, I think when you combine this one with the previous, where is everyone? Then, and numbers are important. Give them help. Like, I think there's a case that you can make that this is incitement of violence. Like, I don't think that's too outrageous to suggest.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he was making £1,400 a month on Twitter. From
really, Jesus.
Apparently so, yeah.
I think he was also receiving benefits, and was the carer for his wife.
Mrs. Kenzo says, I see this guy on Twitter. I don't believe he has any previous, but he does say things that incite violence. Certainly things that could maybe potentially by somebody one day be perceived as incitement for violence. And that's all we need. Like, that's all they have to prove. That maybe one day someone might be offended by it. Does she have anything else to say on that guy? I don't think so. So I guess we're straight to the judgments on this fella. Let us know what you think in the chat. Kenz, I'm going to come to you first. Like, what do you reckon? What would you do? What should we do with Wayne O'Rourke?
Like you said, that last one where he's saying, go on, lads, and putting up a picture of a burning building, that could be going by the logic of the first video that you showed us where people said, if you're posting things that may be deemed likely to be interpreted as offensive, if we're going by that logic, then I would say that, yes, this man has committed a crime of incitement and should face the full force of the law.
Yeah, I would agree.
So this guy...
it's a lot of insinuous stuff. I mean, especially like posting the location of a mosque and stuff like that. Like that's kind of fucked up.
People would be screwing if it was the other way around, wouldn't they? Like,
I mean, it's not about whether I agree with him or not. It's about whether I'm going by the logic of how they're enforcing it.
Well, so far, out of all of the cases that we looked at, this guy has the longest punishment at 3 years in jail. Mrs. Kenzo did say they didn't have any previously, which is true, but he did get a caution for fraud one time, apparently. She says jail, 2 weeks hard service. He got 3 years. He does have, like, his also caring for his wife with fibromyalgia, like, so some people might be kinder to him based on that. I don't think so. I think that this guy is, out of all the ones we've looked at, one of the most obvious, like, incitements in it. Like,
for sure. I definitely recognize his face. I even in the States, I feel like I've seen headlines with this guy's face before.
So I think I'm gonna be slightly kinder than the state. I'm going to give him 35 months instead of 3 years, just so it can be a little bit better than them.
Will he have to do the full 3-year sentence, or does he still get that, where he'll only do half of it, or be let out for good behavior or whatever?
I assume the second one, because the prisons are bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
Just let out a whole wave of gang bangers and rapists and stuff.
Well, they needed to make room for dissidents,
It was a good job that they were able to empty the prisons a little bit just ahead of all of this rioting kicking off. Like, definitely no, they definitely didn't know anything like that was going to happen.
No, of course not.
That would be absurd. So I'm going to give this guy 35 months. I want to shave off that middle part of his hair, so he's got like a hair on the sides kind of thing,
Like the Prodigy.
Old.
Like the Prodigy. He's definitely a fire starter.
Perfect. We'll end with that. All right, here's the next one.
Your Honor, the next defendant is Richard Williams, a 34-year-old man from North Wales who allegedly used Facebook to incite a riot, sharing inflammatory posts and derogatory memes about migrants during a time when tensions were already sky high.
Cool.
So this guy shared a meme in a local...
An inflammatory meme.
Yeah, so I couldn't find what the meme itself was, but I was able to find a description that said it was a picture of a migrant and also featured 80s movie star E.T. So I assume that the joke is something about phoning home and going home, and it like.
Right.
I couldn't find the exact joke, and for me in this case, if it's funny, is really important, because if it is funny, then I don't think a crime is committed. Like, but it has to be funny in it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if it is funny, then all charges should be dropped. Just based on comedic value.
Let's just see if AIOC has any more to add on this case.
Authorities are claiming his online antics played a significant role in the violence that followed. The state, as always, determined to keep a stranglehold on the narrative, has decided to make an example out of him. But, jury, are they really addressing the root causes of the unrest, or just trying to silence those who challenge their version of events?
Okay, so that's a good question from AIOC. Like, are they actually challenging the causes of the issues, or are they penalizing people for internet shit posts?
I think it's right that they're realizing that memes are a threat to humanity, and swift punishment should be dealt out.
Yeah, warning from me.
Mm-hmm.
A stern finger wagging.
Memes are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna achieve the comic book revolution now, is through the power of memes. That's
my mom calls them maymays.
I've heard someone call them memes in real life as well.
Yeah. It took me a second too. She's like, "Have you seen the Maymay?" And I was like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" Like, the Maymay, the thing. Yeah, it's like, oh, me. Yeah, gotcha.
Tree Goblin says it's all half sentences at the moment. So that was to that question earlier. Bristolian Dave says, I mean, that's just funny. Well, I don't know, because we haven't seen it. Dear Vizrak says humor is subjective, which it is, but you can either, whether it's funny or not, like, you can tell if it's structured as a joke. I mean,
right. I mean, just like you may not like someone's stand-up comedy, but you still have to recognize that it is comedy,
even if it's bad. So right. I think that for this fella, for Richard Williams, I don't think that we have enough grounds, without being presented by the evidence of what the meme is for me to decide whether it's funny or not. I cannot give him any sort of sentence at all.
I know, lack of evidence.
We're throwing that one out.
Yeah, I have thrown that one out here. Yeah.
Objection!
Your Honor, the next defendant is Julie Sweeney, who apparently thought it was a great idea to post "Blow the Mosque Up" on Facebook.
Holy fuck!
The state never missing an opportunity to flex its...
Do you have an opinion on that, Billy?
I mean, I think she should get some time just for that jacket she's wearing. But,
yeah.
That's clear 100% incitement to violence right there.
It depends in which thread that said statement is posted. Yeah. If it was a conversation about, we're about to demolish the local mosque in Leeds, what do you think is the best way to demolish it? And she put, I think we should blow the mosque up. Then that's a fair enough statement. But
right. Yeah. Or if you saw it like on an Xbox Live Call of Duty Modern Warfare thingy, and what's the next objective on the map? It's like to blow the mosque up. It's like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah, so,
she did say, blow the mosque up with all the adults inside. Kind of makes it pretty bad, I think. I think that counts as incitement. You pointed to attire. I'm sure you recognize this outfit, Kenzo.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can defend that.
No. It's a strong one, isn't it?
I will say she didn't say the children too.
No, that's so this woman got 15 months in real life.
Oh, wow. That seems light compared to what some of the other people got for less.
Well, but like we said, it's supposed to be proportionate to if you were actually planning on doing the said act. So I'm sure if you would have done what she asked, you'd have got a lot harsher sentence.
Right.
So maybe that was a light one.
Maybe they were a little kind to her because she's an old lady, and old ladies say dumb stuff on the internet all the time.
Right.
One thing, she did delete the tweet, the Facebook post, but not quick enough. People still saw it.
And were potentially offended or incited by it.
Yeah. The fire had been lit.
Mm-hmm. Or scared. It could have scared and offended.
Yeah, but this is a strong one. Blow up the mosque with the adults inside. That's a definite call for violence. I mean, by the rules that we're playing with,
yes, definitely.
She has to be sentenced. Let's have a look in the chat, see what they're saying. Give us your cruel and unusual punishments. Bristolian Dave says, it's like Gervais says, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Being offended is an important part of free speech.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that.
He was on about the previous one, though, and I don't think he was defending blowing up mosques full of people.
Right.
And Demon Vizirac says, Savile would still walk free among us today. He would. That's whose body I've put her on. That's Jimmy Savile's body. Because when I saw her face,
Right.
fuck me.
I was going to say, is that a bloke's body? Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's notorious paedophile Jimmy Savile, who
Right.
could have been put in jail by the Prime Minister, but wasn't. She got anything else to say about this?
Muscles swiftly moved to imprison her, waving the hate speech flag. Sure, her statement is vile. The government would love for us to believe that statements like these are a direct threat to public safety. But jury, is this truly about preventing harm, or is it more about the state using this case to assert its authority over public discourse? Your Honor.
Oh, well, I would say those things aren't even mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
The state's always going to want to make sure it's like keeping up copyright law. It's like you have to assert authority every once in a while, even if it's unjustified, just so people know you mean business.
Yeah, and I believe that they're going to use all of these examples from the idiots who are replying to the police, to these more serious sounding ones, to the higher up people in the chain or whatever that Paul Mason was on about. They're going to use all of these cases to prove that we can't be responsible on the internet, and that our powers should be restricted there. They're already making those moves. I made a video months ago about the online safety bill, and how they're going to use that to crush our freedom of speech. And these are just more examples. They're just building up a back catalogue of shit to point to in the future, to prove that it's an issue.
I don't even like to I like to push it a little bit further when I at least for myself, it's because it's almost like free speech. People have they're like, oh well, free speech with the exception to it's a human rights violation, because free speech isn't just free speech. It's a basic inalienable human right. It's something that the government can't actually grant to you. So it's not, it's above it's one of the things in the world that's I feel is above the law. Because it's if a baby could pop out of his mom first thing and start cursing profanities and obscenities, it just, that shows right there. It's just the government never gave that baby permission to do that, but yet right when it was conceived into this world, it just did it because it's a human right. It's something that can't be granted to you. In my opinion.
I agree with that. We talked a little bit before the show about the woman who was arrested for praying in her mind.
Right.
An even more absurd version of that idea. And sure, have control over yourself, but
right.
Not the state's job to stop people from saying what they think, especially if they can justify what they think. We should at least hear what they're saying, and then destroy it by all means. Don't stop them from saying the thing. But also, don't encourage people to blow up mosques full of people.
No, hell no.
Yes, don't do that.
Don't get them to blow up anything full of people.
Yeah, that's unless you're a president and you're using robotic drones, of course.
Oh yeah, then you're absolutely allowed to blow up as many.
State sanctioned bombing, that's just different. That's a whole different story. Yeah. So we're handing out punishment now.
Yes, let's punish Julie Sweeney.
Oh, I already
hang on. Just one last thing I want to mention on Julie Sweeney before we punish her. She's 53.
Yeah.
Remember Bernadette spoke wrong. She was older than this woman. Like,
I know. She looks at least 20 years older.
She's lived a hard life.
She's probably from up north, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
almost definitely. I think she's from Leeds, but let me double check that. Yeah, the hometown of Jimmy Savile. No, she's from Cheshire.
I love cats from there.
She doesn't look much like a footballer's wife. Alex VRB is here. He says, wait, are you Brits allowed to talk about this? Not really. So we're doing it inside like an interesting framework to make it palatable and acceptable. Okay, so we're going to sentence Julie Sweeney now for encouraging people to blow up a mosque full of people. The real police gave her 15 months. Let me know in the chat what you think. Billy, Kenzo, what are we saying for Julie Sweeney?
24
months.
Yes.
Month. What did you say she got marked? 15?
15 in real life, yeah.
I would say she could either have 15 months or she could get the choice, because she looks to me a bit like one of those lesbian prisoners from one of the 80s prison TV shows, like the all ladies prisons, like Prisoner Cell Block H. So we'll offer her 6 months to star in her own reality TV show of her experience in a woman's prison. So if she does the 6 months Big Brother style prison show, that she gets a lesser sentence.
I like that. We can even call it the Sweeney, which is a purchase thing in it.
But it would have to be, but there'd have to be an extra layer like Black Mirror, where like it's a reality show, but one that has a studio audience, so that people can actually pay tickets, so that we can generate some revenue from this. Where you can pay for tickets to actually go to the set live, where people can openly like laugh and point at her and mock her every day, and
it could be a special built prison, yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going with. She gets 24 months. That's what Billy said. 24 months reduced down to 6 months if she participates in our reality TV show, The Sweeney, which documents her 6 months in prison, sharing a cell with Bernie Spoke Ronks. All right, next.
The next defendant is Dmitry Stoica, a 35-year-old man who faked a TikTok live stream claiming he was being chased by far-right rioters.
All right, so this is the first one where... So, Billy, you had pointed out earlier...
I didn't... I'm sorry, wait, before you... I didn't catch what his charges were again. Can AOC... Can you repeat the charges, please?
He was caught... he was doing a TikTok live stream running through the streets of Derby, which is a city here, claiming that he was being chased by far-right gang or whatever.
Oh, he's pulling a Smollett. Okay, yeah.
Pulling a what, sorry?
A Smollett?
Oh, yeah, that's it, exactly, yeah, doing a Romanian version of the Jussie Smollett thing. So... Up until this point, everyone that we've looked at has fallen into that white working class chav kind of category, apart from Bernie Spofforth, who's clearly like from Bordeaux or whatever. And they've all been a recurring narrative has been this idea of two-tier policing. And the next few,
they've all been Aldi shoppers, apart from her that probably shops at Waitrose.
No, I reckon she also shops at Aldi, but boasts about it like it's a good thing. Like, no,
I wish I got your guys' retail jokes, because I would probably be laughing too.
We'll explain them after the show. So this one's interesting because in amongst all these claims of two-tier policing, there are a bunch of people who are non-white chavs who are also being charged with stuff. Like that guy who was setting fire to the bus that we saw earlier.
Yes,
they caught him and sent him to jail. Like he was a Romanian fella, not a Pakistani Muslim. Like
Wait, he didn't get jail time?
No, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, how brazen as well to just do it like right there. Oh, yeah, but yeah. So this guy. Let's carry on with this guy.
This fabricated drama was meant to boost his follower count, but it backfired spectacularly, leading to his arrest. The authorities have charged him with causing unnecessary panic and spreading disinformation. The state, ever eager to clamp down on perceived threats to order, has decided to make an example of Dimitri. But jury, is this really about safeguarding public peace? Or is it more about the government punishing someone who dared to expose its shortcomings through social media manipulation?
I think that even AIOC is pushing it a bit there, like on reframing that. This is bad, like pretending to be a victim of violence. Like, don't do that. Like everyone's saying, Juicy Smollett kind of thing. I'm Brian Christgau here. Hello.
Well, okay, here in the States, that would the part of the punishment for that would be not just the perceived crime itself, but the wasting of resources. Like if there was, like, the police having to spend the time and the man hours to investigate like all this and like whatnot.
It could also be deemed as he was trying to incite people in the local area that were opposing the far right to come out and counter-protest violently.
Yeah. That could
Perhaps.
have easily led to violence, eh?
It could have indeed. Like tit for tat violence. Someone could have thought, well, if the far right are chasing down my friend Dimitri and people like him, maybe we would, retaliate similarly. That kind of thing.
Alex VRB says, Mark disavows LIOC when she disparages his Ministry of Truth and Speech. She's just pushed it a bit far that time. Yeah, so for me, this is comparable to, YouTube prank videos, right? Like, if you're out there in real life doing pranks, you should go to jail. I hate those prank videos. They're all fake and gay, just like Dimitri Stoiker. Like,
yeah.
So, what do you reckon? What sort of punishment should we be giving to Comrade Dimitri?
What was the punishment that the state allocated, Mark?
Oh yes, let's have a look. So he was broadcasting to his 700. He had 700 live viewers when that was going on at 10 p.m. How long did he get? They got him on sending a false communication using the Online Safety Act. He was jailed for 3 months and ordered to pay £154 in compensation.
Oh.
So 3 months, 12 weeks. We've seen that a bunch already.
Wait, one more time? Can you restate that? Sorry.
He got 3 months, a fine of £154.
Okay. I would cut the jail time completely out. And wait, how many pounds?
154.
Oh God, yeah. No, I would.
That's
I would,
a lot more in dollars.
It's maybe 2 days' wages for a poor person.
Yeah. I would. I would say no jail time, $5,000 fine.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a big fine.
That's a big
Well, it's what I would charge him for is literally, like I was saying, he'd be charged for the police man hours that it took to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah, that seems fair, I guess. Any cruel or unusual punishment?
What kind of name is that? Dimitri.
So he's a Romanian fella, Dimitri Stoica. That's a Romanian name.
Like Gypsy?
No, that's Roma.
Yeah,
oh, that's Roma. Okay. So I was going to say maybe he should get some jail time if he is a gypsy.
I'll be honest. I think jail time is a bit harsh for this, man. I think it should be a probation thing and a TikTok ban or something.
He should have just put,
yeah.
He should have just put the word prank in his video title, and then I'd be finding it a lot harder to judge him for it.
Yeah.
Without seeing the video, it's hard to tell how believable it is. It
depends. You could say that he was trying to incite, or you could say that perhaps he thought he was seeing a disproportionate amount of, videos of his kind of people being portrayed wrong and wanted to add to the, far right narrative. It could be seen as just propaganda rather than incitement. It was malicious communications.
Yeah. One of the things for me with this case is while it does technically fall under the online cases, he was out in the real world doing a thing, and it's one thing to put the willies up people watching your TikTok at home, but if he's running through the streets saying these people are coming and there's other people around, they're gonna start running away also in it. And before you know it, you can have a stampede of panic.
Imagine he was carrying like 5 copies of Ice on and wearing a cape.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean and that's why my fine was so harsh, just because of the police. Again, the resources it took to deal with this bullshit. He needs to be punished. I can't believe I just said that.
Oh my God, Billy.
Needs to be punished.
He needs to feel the full force of the law for the greater good.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this one is comparable to the Wayne O'Rourke case. I think this is spreading of misinformation, definitely. Or disinformation, in fact, because it's not true. So I think that it's not a direct incitement, but it has the potential to cause violence.
So at the very least, panic. Yeah.
Yeah. Civil unrest.
If you ran into a cinema and said the far right's here, it would kick off, wouldn't it? So I think I want to give him the same as Wayne O'Rourke, because I don't want to be accused of two-tier policing. I should get the same punishment as a white chav should get. So I'm also going to give him 3 years. And just because we're going to do this to all of them, if you've got a beard and hair, it's coming off. We're shaving all of that off, and you got to be smothered in Vaseline.
Why smothered in Vaseline?
Next one, Habib Khan.
Your Honor, the next defendant is Habib Khan, a 49-year-old man from Sparkbrook, who made a video where he threatened to blow away the EDL with a toy AK-47. The state treated this as a serious threat, leading to his arrest and potential severe punishment.
All right, so Billy, this is a roadman. Would you reckon?
Kind of.
He's maybe a little old at 49, but the fashion choices aren't a million miles away.
What, like a puffy vest and a ball cap?
You can picture him with his
balaclava.
company. There's
A
one glove.
Road man. Okay.
And this guy's from Birmingham, like my city, where I'm from. Like, so I'm definitely not scared.
The government insists that any form of threatening speech, even if it's clearly a joke, must be dealt with harshly to maintain order.
Yeah, so he made a video, right, with his fake AK-47, essentially saying, come down here to Sparkbrook and I'll blow you away or whatever. His defense in court is that it's not him.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
First person to pull that one out.
well, me. Didn't do nothing. Did his mum say he was a good? Did his mum say he was a good boy as well?
She did, yeah. He also said that that doesn't make sense because
This guy's going to get the book thrown at it from me, by the way.
I've got to defend the guy. I'm sorry. Like,
well, I mean, just people are on the dumb side, so a lot of people might not know that that's a fake AK-47.
For sure.
So that's one like serious note against him. His words were actually pointing to there was actually an what do they call it, an ask, a call to action.
Call to action,
yeah, call to action.
Did he say that I want you all to follow me in doing this, or did he just say I personally am going to shoot the EDL?
I don't know. Can we repeat the
I'm pretty sure he just said that he was going to shoot the EDL. No, and this is where I have to defend the gentleman.
Then it's a threat. Then still, it's a threat to a government agency.
No, it's a threat to a defunct, non-existent, organization that doesn't exist anymore. And he's got a plastic AK-47 threatening to shoot something that doesn't exist anymore. That would be like me making a video with a plastic samurai sword saying I'm going to chop the head off Hitler's ghost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, were you trying to gain excellence in the katana when you were saying that?
Trying to achieve mastery in the katana. The direct quote is, he said, EDL, I'm going to blow you away, you motherfuckers.
Now, did the EDL exist when he said this?
No, they haven't existed for
it had
about
already
10
been
years.
Oh, okay.
But it has been used as a catch-all term for the protesters, the rioters, or whatever. Which the right replies like, "It's not even a thing." So
it's not a thing. But the police,
true. Like people are using it as a colloquial replacement because
the media were even releasing articles recently saying that suspected EDL members seen in this area or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, I'm going to, just because something doesn't exist, not everybody is informed on stuff like that. So just like the fake gun, people might not pick up on that he was referring to a fake, or not fake, sorry, a defunct organization.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably one of the biggest damning things in my eyes is that it shows clear premeditation of wrongdoing, or else he would not be wearing a mask. Like he knows what he's doing is wrong. And if it was, I mean, I guess the mask could be part of the joke per se. But if it was, I'd be wearing the mask wrong, or some kind of silly way,
I think I even read that the government were going as far as to trying to prescribe the EDL as a terrorist organization. And there was discourse online saying, well, how are you going to do that? Because they're a defunct organization, So would that be like, again, if someone else made a video saying, I am going to, what did he say? Shoot these.
Blow them away.
Yeah, I'm going to blow away these ISIS motherfuckers. if I was to say that, like, you know, would that be deemed criminality, you know, or incitement then, you know, in the same terms?
I would think
interesting. Tree Goblin in the chat says Keir Starmer was the first to say that the riots were the EDL. That's government misinformation. So yeah, that's the whole thing about this. That for the mainstream media, the newspapers and stuff, they seem to be allowed to say whatever they want, like about what's going on, like with no repercussions. No one's accusing them of distributing misinformation when they're printing the misinformation, like you know.
Yeah, there's been anyone protesting on the right-wing side has been labelled far right or thugs or hooligans, and then anyone else, you know, counter-protesting are just counter-protesters, you know, mostly peaceful counter-protests with machetes.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't remember if AIOC got to the end of this bit. Let's have a quick look.
But, jury, is this really about protecting society from potential violence? Or is it more about the state's desire to crush any speech that could be perceived as subversive?
I'll probably go with the latter.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well. So this one for me, like posting a video directed at an organization that doesn't exist, saying if you come to me, saying don't come to me because I'll kill you if you do. I'm not sure. This one's a tough one. But it's similar to the case of the blow up the mosque woman.
Yeah, but hers was clear. Like, yeah, hers was a bit.
This is saying if you come to me, then I'll defend myself, like, and my community or whatever. I'm not.
Yeah, but vigilantism is supposed to be frowned upon in our society. You know, communities are not supposed to police themselves. The police are supposed to do it. He should have made a video saying, if they come to me, I will call the police and let the authorities deal with it like a good citizen. And then he would have been arrested.
Come to me, I'll write a strongly worded letter to my representative.
I think that if his video had a smooth rap beat underneath, then it would be 100% acceptable, like, and would be protected by artistic freedoms. I don't know. This one's a hard one. Like, maybe
if he would have just addressed Tommy Robinson by name instead of saying the EDL, we would have got away with it.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Mayhap.
I don't know. I'm torn on this one. Like, it's tough.
I'm giving this guy 3 years.
3 years as well. Same as running through the streets pretending you're being chased.
I gave 2 years for that one. Or no, I gave a $5,000 fine for that one.
You did.
5,000.
Or whatever the 5,300 British Queen silver, whatever it is.
I'll give him a ban on buying children's toys.
Wow. Harsh.
Yeah. And balaclavas also. And puffer jackets.
I love puffer jackets.
We're also going to sentence this guy to only being allowed to shop in Bon Marsh going forwards.
Sorry. I wanted to join in.
Go on. I want to double check a fact, so carry on.
No, I wanted to. I was feeling left out that time.
I understand, Billy. I understand.
I'm a retail comedy.
I understand.
Okay, so for extra detail, there was a second charge put on this guy for using homophobic words, like in the video. So, I assume that he compared him to a delicious, meaty and suet treat or something like that.
Wait,
Pardon?
oh, so I wasn't finished reading, sorry.
I assume that everyone can speed read.
So she told the court the second charge related to homophobic words said to an officer upon arrest. Aaron Payne, defending, confirmed that Khan's case is that he was unaware his friend was intending to upload the video to social media. So he's saying he didn't even upload it.
Yeah. So, is that breaking the rules of online? Is he breaking the online safety rules if he was not intending to post it online? If someone else has filmed him doing a skit in the kitchen, then it makes it a bit tougher. And as well, he's 49 years old. You should be a responsible enough adult, at this age, to not get caught up in shit like this. So yeah, we're gonna. Well, I don't think I'm gonna give him any jail time. I think that if it had a rap beat, we'd say artistic expression, and that would be absolutely fine. He did say some homophobic words to the arresting officers. So instead of Bon Marsh,
which one?
It doesn't specify, but I assume
Can you give us some examples?
Treat. You've heard them all.
Yeah.
I used to if you want to know the kind of words,
I used to get called them all the time at school because I'm ginger. Yeah.
If you want to know the kind of words that he may or may not have said, go and subscribe to Melanie Mac's channel.
Something about bandits and bums or something.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Poofters.
So we're going to ban him from these sort of outfits, and from now on he can only wear gay bondage gear.
Your Honor, the next defendant is Tyler K., a man from Northampton, who, in a move that defies logic, used his real name and picture on Twitter to threaten to burn down an asylum hotel.
Oh, I remember this guy.
Where do they keep finding these idiots who are doing this stuff? With their own names?
Pretty wild.
Northampton, so he's from up north.
They obviously feel brazen enough and are angry enough that they feel that they're within their right to say it.
I mean, I know as a jury member I'm supposed to be unbiased, but I do have a general disdain, like most Southerners do, for any Northerners. And a lot of these people have been Northerners, so I've been struggling a little bit. And for me, Northampton is the southernmost point of the North. That's where they start saying. It's where they start saying Bath instead of Bath, and other dirty Northern words. So I'm finding it hard to feel sorry for him already.
Okay, so I've got some examples here of this kind of things that he was saying on the internet, So, not only did he use his own name and profile, he was talking about where he lives. He was explaining to people to wear gloves and not take their car, so they can't use ANPR technology to track them and stuff. Yeah. Make sure you have clothes nearby, so you can get changed, while you're on the run, shit like that.
Holy shit.
More advice on how to stay anonymous. There's a specific part of that I want to get back to. More incitements in Let's Go. One who's expressing a desire to be involved, all of this kind of stuff. So no more quotes. So we'll come back to him because there's a thing.
The state predictably responded by locking him up. The government would have us believe that such threats, no matter how foolishly made, pose a serious danger to public safety. But jury, is this truly about preventing violence, or is it more about punishing someone for their sheer, unadulterated stupidity?
This guy is the most stupidest of them so far.
Yeah.
Equal to at least the guy who was tweeting his, Facebooking his threats directly to the police. Like, that's pretty dumb. But this guy, was using his own name and everything. But what's interesting for me about this one is you'll notice that after those two non-white people of color cases that we looked at, I've come back to another chav because we're about to highlight where I think there really is two-tier policing going on. And it's not based on race. Obviously, as always, that I'm going to say that it's based on class, right? Let's hide that one for now. Because one of the things that this guy is in trouble for is this tweet here. And this one's quite a strong one. Have a look at this. So he said, mass deportation now. Set fire to all the fucking hotels full of the bastards for all I care. If that makes me racist, so be it.
That does make him racist.
See, I don't think that he's stupid. I just think that he's brazen.
But could it be determined to be interpreted as hateful, Billy?
I think it's definitely hateful, isn't it?
So when you bring the hate element into charging someone, it's normally a more severe punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demon Vizarak in the chat says he watched a lot of CSI, but still used his own name. Just genius level intellect here. Yeah, these people. I think this is a person who can't even comprehend the idea that the law might apply to him. Like, just doesn't understand that. Like, people were telling him, like, you're going to get in trouble. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. But to the classism thing that I wanted to discuss, right? Oh, let's sentence him first before we do that class bit.
I think he did quite a sentence anyway, didn't he? He got a custodial. I think he did get a custodial.
What happened to him?
I'm going to give this guy a combination sentence of re-education classes and
that's what I was thinking.
26 months.
I was thinking, re-education classes because of the race element. Maybe he needs some kind of training. Maybe where he was put amongst different communities.
I will say that this show has very much enlightened me in a sense that, like, when you lay it all out, man, I can really see how easy it is to, like, slip into authoritarianism, like giving me the
yeah, especially when I say to you, Billy, what should we do? How should we punish this person?
Yeah. And the power is, like, put into my hands myself. It's like, it's like it feels good to, like, lay down the sentence. And and I feel very righteous in my
Billy, now you know how the SJWs feel.
Yeah, man, this is like, I feel like I'm holding a gun. This is awesome.
I think I've got a cruel and unusual punishment, Billy.
Yes, please. Go on, let's have it.
Well, I think there is, like, a stereotype where it's perceived that a specific underprivileged demographic do not change the battery in their smoke alarm. So I think that this man should have to go around and change all the batteries in these specific people's smoke alarms so he could, see how these people live and appreciate further, how we shouldn't be hateful against these people.
And that would do a great deal to improve the fire safety of the nation, like, which has a ironic flavor, because it was all about burning down buildings and stuff. So I am happy with that. Like, but I think what I would do, my punishment for this guy, is that he should be forced to dress as a woman for the rest of his life. He's got the eyes for it. Like, I can see him as like a short-haired fat woman.
Tyler K could be a woman's name.
Wouldn't even have to change his name.
Your Honor, the next defendant is Lucy Connolly, the partner of a Tory councillor who's accused of inciting racial hatred by calling for mass deportations and arson attacks on social media.
Okay, so this is where we get into the class divide that I'm talking about. Everyone that we've looked at up until this point has been poor. Whether they were poor whites or whether they were poor immigrants, everybody was poor up to this point. Now we get into the part of the cases where in real life they're probably going to get away with it because they're not poor. So the last person that we looked at, Tyler K, remember that quote that I showed you of what he said, right? Where's the line? I'm trying to find it now. It was before that. It was after that. Yeah, so you remember this quote that I read out earlier? Where is it? Here. The mass deportation now, set fire to all the fucking hotels, full of the bastards, for all I care. If that makes me racist, so be it. He was quoting this woman, like the wife of a conservative councillor, like the thing that we just sent him to jail for wasn't even his own words, and like he was quoting this woman.
The state wasted no time in charging her, arguing that her words are a direct threat to social cohesion.
Oh my God, social cohesion.
Which they are. If those were criminally punishable, like when a poor white person done it, like it should be the same when a wealthy partner of a politically a politically connected guy, like, should face the same exact punishment. And that's what. And if she doesn't, which I don't think she will, that will be evidence of the real two-tier policing.
The government loves to.
Oh, we don't have a picture of her?
Oh, yeah. Did you not see it? Here she is.
Oh, God. She's rich and, like, not ugly, too. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, bro. She looks like she can open cans of beans with her chin.
Yeah, I mean, she does have a bit of a strong chin, but she doesn't look like, 85 and she's 22, like, I mean.
She looks like her friends are named like Charlotte and Olivia.
Yeah.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, here the equivalent of that here in the States, like her name's Megan and her best friend is Mackenzie.
Yeah.
I can see that. But yeah, so she made those comments that the last guy got sent to jail for. So at the very minimum, I sentenced her to whatever we sentenced him to. So she now has to spend the rest of her life wearing men's clothes.
What did but she didn't say, she just said deport people, right?
No. She said to.
Let me pull the quote up for you one more time, Billy.
A bit naughty, Billy.
Mass deportation, set fire to. Wait, that's what the guy said, or is this what she said?
No, so he just quoted her.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Yeah, well then, yeah, no, she gets she gets re-education, and what did I say? 24 months.
yeah, whatever it is, the same. Like
Yep.
it's the same crime. She should be
Yep.
punished in exactly the same way. Like,
Yep.
but she won't be.
Yeah, and I think that she should have to wear the hair and beard of someone that we've shaved it off of.
No, she should have to dress as a whore. She should have to wear Burberry, and yeah.
I like what you said, but I'm going to upgrade it to she has to dress as a horse, like as a annoying horse.
I thought you were going to say whore, and I was like, well, then she already does that. That's like.
So this is one politically connected person with the conservatives, like on the right side of the debate. Tree Goblin says he retweeted her directly. He added some hashtags as well.
Oh, any racist emojis?
No racist emojis this time.
Oh.
Okay, so this is from the left. From the right of the debate, but the next one that we're going to look at comes from the left.
That hate speech must be rooted out, especially when it comes from those in power. But jury, is this truly about protecting society from dangerous ideas, or is it more about the state targeting those whose political views clash with the current regime?
No, it's not that. It's about the rich getting lighter punishments.
Your Honor, the penultimate defendant is Ricky Jones, a suspended labor counselor who's been charged with encouraging violent disorder during a speech aimed at far-right protesters.
All right. I have got a video of this one to show you, Billy.
Like, this guy.
If you haven't seen this.
Labor councillor Ricky Jones.
You watching, Billy?
Yeah.
All right.
We've got children and women using those trains, destroying some relatives. They are disgusting, nasty bastards, and we need to cull their throats and get rid of them all.
Yeah. Did he call them Nazis in that?
He called them disgusting Nazi fascists, and we need to slit all of their throats.
As one does, yeah.
What I particularly like about this clip is that when he says that, there's a moment, a murmur
and he says, we need
through
to.
the crowd where people know that he shouldn't have said that in it, that he went too far. And this woman here, to the right of him, she looks very shocked by it. But then it only takes a couple of people to woo and clap. Like,
and then she smiles and goes along with it.
Yeah, she said she didn't hear what he said. She made a statement.
This person here with the glasses.
The guy with the beard? Wait, the guy with the beard? No, the girl. Okay, yeah.
The one who is wearing a vest for Amnesty International. Keep an eye on her reaction when the guy says we should slit all of their throats.
They are disgusting, nasty bastards, and we need to cull their throats and get rid of them all.
So everyone, like, nobody is cheering yet, apart from the one woman in it, like the one who says she didn't hear what he said.
I mean, she's smiling though, and she clapped.
She leads the applause. Nobody else was applauding until she started.
It's nervous clapping.
Tree Goblin asked, what did Lucy get? Nothing yet. That's going to be in October, I think it was. That she'll deal with that.
Yeah, she wasn't expedited.
No. Because, you know, she's rich and can have a lawyer and stuff instead of having to rely on the free lawyer that the state will give you.
One that tells you to plead guilty. Because if you plead not guilty, you'll be on bail for like 9 months. I mean, not bailed for 9 months.
Yeah, but you'll be stuck in limbo waiting and shit.
Yeah.
in its infinite wisdom, decided to make an example of him, claiming that his words directly incited violence. The government claimed...
I think this is the clearest case so far of definitely inciting violence. Like, maybe that's just me.
...claims that anyone inciting violence, no matter their politics, must be held accountable. But jury, is this really about maintaining public order? Or is it more about the state's need to silence those who dare to challenge the status quo? Your Honor.
I think that if we wasn't having this debate about two-tier policing, he wouldn't have got in any trouble for this. Like, for me, this feels like everyone saw the Lucy Connolly thing. You know, the right foot was like, oh, they got one of ours or whatever. So now they've gone to get a counter protester from the left or whatever for a similar sort of thing.
I think he was literally arrested, you know, within 24 hours of that being published on the same day, because there was a lot of pressure online, like you said, from, you know, right-wing accounts that were tagging it and sending it to the police.
Which I must say is bitch behavior. Like, whether you're on the left or the right, like, I don't care. Like, don't be reporting stuff. Who are you? Like, I didn't realize it was.
Have you seen the anonymous account on Twitter? Like, they've been doing that a hell of a lot. Like, you know,
like, even you know, Libs of TikTok is like a doxer now who gets people fired from their, like, the very thing that, you know, they were initially railing against. Like, just be consistent. Like,
be an SJW.
Yeah. Demon Visorak says he also a member of government in a crowd saying this. If this isn't incitement, what is?
Yeah, he's a Labour councillor.
From the In Power Party.
Yeah. Like, he should get the proportionate crime, as we said, for everything else. If we want to stay consistent, you know, so he should get the crime of as if he did slit a horrible fascist Nazi's throat.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like life.
But I don't know. Is that rewarded under the new government, or?
I guess we'll find out when he goes to trial.
What about in our court?
In our court, like, I don't reward people for murdering fascists. Wait, what a sentence. Did I just say that? No, murder is definitely wrong, like in all counts. I mean, like, so there's a defense where you're allowed. Okay, you're allowed to kill someone if, in the moment, they're trying to kill you, right? That's self-defense. That's okay. If someone tries to kill you, you get away, you go and get a weapon, and you go back and kill them. That's morally wrong. Like, it was only acceptable in the moment when you was about to die.
Like, and you couldn't flee, and there was no other choice.
Yeah,
and it was
calling for the slitting of the throats of your enemies is morally wrong. Like, he should be calling for the arrest of his enemies, for the capture of his enemies, for the cruel and unusual torture and punishments of his enemies, maybe, but not murdering them. Like, that's definitely wrong.
You're putting me up already? I was like prepping that for
all right, we'll come back to that. We're on the penultimate one, so yeah, I think we're throwing the book at this dude. Like, we're dropping the book from a great height.
Can we actually make that a punishment where we can throw books at him?
Yeah, we'll get we'll get a Hamas fighter to throw the book off the top of a big building, like, to land on him. And I'm going to send him to jail for his entire life. All right, last one.
Is Nick Lowes, the head of an anti-racism charity who thought it was a good idea to tweet.
This is the head of the charity Hope Not Hate.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned them right at the start of the video. Like, they get lots of money from rich donors and from the government and allegedly from other sources, you know, to combat this kind of online right-wing misinformation, disinformation. Like, that's specifically what they do. That's like
they're against stoking up racial hatred online.
Exactly. Oh, on that last one, sorry, Tree Goblin says he's only being charged with inciting violence, not murder. Right, let's carry on with this fella.
Falsely, I might add, about an acid attack on a Muslim woman during recent riots. Even though he later issued a half-hearted apology, the damage was done and the misinformation spread like wildfire. The state, ever the paragon of justice, argues that anyone spreading false information, regardless of their intentions, must be held accountable. The government...
Yeah, so massive hypocrite at the very least. Like, his job is supposed to be fighting disinformation and misinformation and stuff. And here he is caught doing the very thing that, you know, is supposed to be against.
What did he actually do? I mean, I've heard his backstory and stuff, but what did he do?
Yeah, so he was sharing untrue information saying that Muslim women in the riots were having acid thrown in their faces by far-right protesters.
Oh my God.
Which is, you know, as bad as saying that, you know, there was examples of misinformation during the protests where people from the right were saying, oh, Muslims stabbed a guy like at the protest, like nobody was killed like in these protests at all, like that.
Yeah, it's another Smollett. He was pulling a Smollett. Yeah.
But this guy's job is supposed to be combating misinformation.
Yeah,
like
and he works for Hope Not Hate, not hate and not for
not hope for hate.
Yeah, not for hope for hate, which is a different
I think this one is a worse case of misinformation than the lady that put out the false name for the Southport attacker. Yeah.
I agree with that, because at least the name that she named wasn't a person. Like, whereas
it was a made-up name.
This guy is potentially blaming crowds of people, like, for a crime that they didn't commit. So this, I think this one might be the worst. I think I've said that about 6 times. Like, that they're just some of the ones that we looked at the beginning. Remember how innocent they were now, like a guy sharing an emoji of a black person and a gun, like, and now we're talking about the leader of the UK's #1 anti-racism and misinformation charity sharing racist misinformation.
Oh yeah, we need to make an example out of this guy.
The thing is, my only issue with the police haven't arrested this guy at all. He's not in trouble. He hasn't been charged. Like, he won't be charged. Like, because, you know, he's a weapon of the state, and the state aren't gonna charge him with anything.
We arrested him though.
Oh, we have, yeah, here in the communist utopia, the People's Republic of Marxistan.
The kangaroo court.
Pardon?
The kangaroo court.
Yeah, he's getting his struggle session time here today. I don't particularly want to send him to prison because he looks like the kind of guy who would enjoy it. Like,
I don't know.
No, I'm thinking specifically in the showers. Like,
oh no, this is a guy I can tell by his face. He would go to jail. He would get sentenced to jail, and then all of a sudden come out as he identifies as a woman, so he could get put into a women's prison.
I can see that. Seems to be. I could believe that. Yes. You know, it's been interesting here in the UK to watch how quickly transgender women were relegated to not important again. Now everyone's talking about Islamophobia. Like, so,
Yeah.
you know, they're out of the hot seat.
Oh
now.
yeah, I mean they're like they're
bathroom.
yeah, they're basically like Ukraine. Like nobody remembers that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's some old shit.
Okay, let's sentence Nicholas then. What do we reckon?
Well, we have to change his name to Nick Lols.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
First off, stripped from working in that type of agency or doing any of that type of work again. Like
we have to change
his
their name to Hate Not Hope.
Yep. Nancy here has to get a new job because they can't work in that field anymore. And then man, I don't want to say jail time because the last person that pulled a small I didn't give jail time. I would say stripped of his being able to do his current job and from ever serving again in any type of capacity for that type of position with in that type of organization, no matter how small, and £10,000 fine.
That's a big fine. Like I'm sure he could eat it though, because it's in that.
I think because he was trying to highlight crimes specifically against women, I think his punishment should be he should be part of the production team on the reality TV show The Sweeney, starring Julie Sweeney.
Yeah, that could work. So first thing I'm going to do, take away his glasses. Not allowed his glasses anymore.
Damn. Yep.
We're going to change his name. So anytime that it's written, his name will be spreader of disinformation, Nicholas. Like that has to be prefaced with that every time to undermine anything that he says.
Nancy, no words.
Let's have a quick look in the chat, see if anyone's got anything. Tree Goblin advocating for the death penalty over here.
Wow.
A bit strong. Like I think it's hypocritical to say killing is wrong and you done a killing, so we're going to kill you. Like feels wrong to me. I'm not going to send him to the guillotine. Like doesn't have enough institutional power to warrant that. So I think he should get I don't want to send him. It's so hard. Like all of this is like you were saying, Billy, it's satisfying to dish out the cancel culture on the people in it. Like that they're guilty of stuff. We've got an excuse. Let's get them.
I mean, once you're on the jury for the war crimes, you want to like fucking stick it to them. Yeah.
Oh, but the point is, this one, the two before this, they are elites, like above the chavs that we looked at previously. Like for me, these people have positioned themselves as moral authorities in the community, and it. So when they commit those actions, it should be seen as worse. Like none of these chavs were saying that they were bastions of the community or whatever. Like these guys put their heads above the parapet to say, you know, we're the best, which they're clearly not. So we'll strip him of his role at Hope Not Hate, which will now be renamed as Hope for Hate. Like And I'm going to send him to jail for 1 million years. And that is the end.
Okay, so and the video this is how Australians would have handled it.
Oh, that's it. I'm going to report this to me member of Parliament. Hey, Gus! I got something to report to you.
That's a bloody outrage, it is. I want to take this all the way to the Prime Minister. Hey, Mr. Prime Minister! Andy!
Aye, mate. What's a good word?
Classic. Oh, look, there's our friend Paul Mason in here. All right. So anyone got any final thoughts on these cases that we've looked at today in regards to the UK riots?
I feel like we did some real good today.
We've definitely discouraged people from inciting violence and racist behavior.
And I mean, and I don't think that we gave any, like, I think it was clear when we were, giving out funny sentences versus, things that by the letter of the law, what they should have gotten. Like, and we didn't sentence anybody to like jail for thought crime or any of that bullshit. So
no,
I think we were pretty fair according to the letter of the law.
Yeah.
I think that we managed to stay inside the boundaries of what we are or not allowed to say on the internet regarding these matters. It was great. Excellent performance by AIOC, to outline all of this stuff for us, provide all this information, real star of the show. Thank you, Billy and Kenzo, for coming and offering your insight. Thanks to the people in the chat, especially those of you who have been here for the whole 3 hours so far, Tree Goblin, Demon Vizorak, those guys have been here very much since the beginning, so thank you to you guys. I don't think I have anything else to say. Go and subscribe to all of these dickheads, follow them on their social medias and stuff before they get arrested. Oh, hang on, I almost pressed the button. Kenzo, did you do a poem for us?
Of course. Jan, I'm being Jan.
Yeah, you've been promoted to Jan.
I am Jan tonight. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, please take us out.
Okay. Tonight, the panel is locked and loaded. It's going to be dope. I feel like this is the stream that finally gets Mark thrown in the gulag. Some people hate Jews. Some people hate Muslims. This looks like a poster for a Bollywood movie. Insincerely diverse. The criminal justice system is an area the police are just failing in. We're going to change her name to Bernadette Spogron. She can smell you break the rules. When I get a chubby, I call it a hunch front. Chavs are working class, prone to crime and Burberry. He's definitely a fire starter. It featured a picture of a migrant and an 80s movie icon. My mum calls them Maymays. Humor is subjective. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Savile would still walk free among us today. Wait, are you Brits allowed to talk about this? Oh, he's pulling a Smollett. Everybody was poor up until this point. Oh my God, social cohesion. She has to dress like a whore. Any racist emojis? I'm thinking specifically in the shower. Take away his glasses.
Good night.